was the beginning of fall, and I worked as a cashier at a small store near my apartment. My usual shift ended at 9 p.m., and then I usually go to the food deliveries for a couple of hours before heading home. I actually enjoy doing deliveries at night as the roads weren't busy and most other delivery drivers would work during the day and would take all the orders, so I actually get more orders to do at night. Anyways, I had just gotten out of work and set up my app to get ready to do some deliveries. The first one that came in was quick and only took about 15 minutes. Then I waited for a few minutes before the next order came in. It was a good payout and the delivery address was 20 minutes away from where I was. I headed over to the fast food restaurant to pick up their food. Then I started making my way over to the house. The town I live in isn't too big and has a lot empty plots of land. There is the main center of town, which is where my apartment is and most of the restaurant. Then about 10 minutes out, there is a lot of farmland and the houses are much more spread out. Almost all the deliveries I get are within the town area, but every once in a while I will get a deliveries further out into the farm area. I assumed this wasn't going to be farmhouse since it was 20 minutes away. However, the app said that the address was located in a small neighborhood area just off of a small highway. I didn't like delivering to the isolated farmhouses at the night as it just kind of creeped me out, so I was happy to be delivering to a neighborhood home. Once I got off the highway, I turned left and started making my way down the road toward the neighborhood, but almost immediately I got a call from an unknown number. I declined it as I thought it was just a scam, but just a few seconds later they called again, figuring it was probably the customer. I accepted. "Hello," I asked. A few seconds went by with no response, so I just hung up. But then again, just a few moments later, the same number called me. I answered, and almost immediately guy speaks and tells me I turned the wrong way. I asked him what he meant, as I had the map up and it says that I'm going the right way, but he said his address gets messed up on the delivery app and that he always has no call and let the drivers know where to go. I said okay and asked him how to get there. He told me that when I got off the highway, I needed to take a right from that road, then take the third left. He mentioned it was a gravel path that led to his farmhouse at the end. I told him I'd be there in a few minutes and turned the car around. I have multiple customers call me before to tell me that the address was a little off or to give me direction on unnamed roads, as it was pretty common out here, so I honestly didn't think much of it. I passed the highway that I turned off of and continued until I found third left and turned onto the gravel path. The path went into a small forest of trees and it was really dark. Again, I didn't like this area at night, so I was definitely a little nervous driving down this isolated gravel road. Once I started getting nervous, I began thinking about how strange it was that the map had taken me so far in the opposite direction of the house that the man claims in his actual address. I tried to bury those thoughts, assuring myself I was just overthinking it because I was nervous. A couple minutes passed though, and there was still no house in sight. At this point, I wasn't even sure if I had turned down the right path, but the trees were too close to the sides, so I didn't have much room to turn around anyways. I figured I'd continue down to the end, then called to ask if I had the right place and turn around there. If not, another minute or two went by before I finally reached the end, as it merged into a small circle driveway next to the house. I drove up to the path that led to the front door and parked the car next to a for sale sign that was put up in the front of the house. Seeing that, I wasn't sure if I had the right house, but I looked over at the front door and it was open. I could see someone further back wave at me. Figuring I was good, I grabbed the bag and started making my way over to the door. As I stepped onto the porch and began putting the bag down, I saw the man again. Down the hallway that led to the kitchen, he politely asked me if I could set the foot down on the kitchen counter, then quickly walk away as if he was in a rush. And then I heard him turn the sink on in the kitchen. Hesitantly, I took a step into the house. I looked around. It was decorated with old furniture and accessories, but it almost looked like it was completely unused. I quickly made my way down the hall and into the kitchen, but as soon as I got there, I noticed that the sink was still running, but the man was nowhere in sight. This made chills run down my body, and I quickly set the bag down on the counter and got out of there as quick as I could. I could hear the man yell something from the front door as I got back in my car, but I could not understand what he said. I put the car in the drive and went back out the way I came. I didn't stop driving until I got to the parking lot of my apartment. Then I pulled my phone out and saw multiple missed calls from the same number. I blocked the number, then opened the delivery apps so I could end my deliveries for the night. But that's when I noticed that I had the messages from the customer through the app telling me that I had to turn the wrong way and that I was at the wrong house. I went into the shock for a moment, realizing that the man had called me wasn't my actual customer, and the house I was in was just some stranger's house. I called the police immediately and reported everything to them. An officer came to my apartment to go over more details. Soon after, I had no idea how this man could have known that I was doing a delivery and had been able to see my location. The officer said that my phone likely been hacked and that the man was probably monitoring everything that I was doing. Hearing this made me really uncomfortable, as if all that wasn't bad enough. The next day, I was informed that the house I was at actually vacant, as it was for sale by the owners who had moved out months ago. The man had apparently gotten it through an unlocked window in one of the rooms. As of right now, they still haven't found anything significant that could lead to finding the man, which makes me feel really unsafe. I don't know for sure what the man was trying to do, but I think it's pretty good assumption that he was probably planning on kidnapping me, or maybe even worse. I try to not think about it too much, but I can't help but go over all the horrible things that could have happened on that night.